what it is that we do to help scale that sense of adaptivity within ourselves across this population?
I can only answer that question for myself. My answer is each of us as a human needs to come to some reconciliation with the fact that survival of our species will require from every single one of us some sacrifice of ourselves to find a better way in the age that is emerging. It's not lost on me that, like, when we look at the Western world, industrialized Western world, and we kind of take where constructs of self-organization inside human systems were very early adapted and have been cultivated most effectively is in Northern Europe. Specifically in populations, I'd say, are former parts of the Hanseatic League. It's a very obscure historical reference.
I'm going to say, where's the Hanseatic League?
You'll have to look it up. Or I would say Scandinavian.
Okay.
Viking. Like, if we really want to break it down to Neolithic, Viking. Those, even today, when we look at some of the strongest social democracies, that interplay of socialism and democracy are in Scandinavian countries. It is not lost on me that these are all Viking populations. What is one thing you are going to learn that is going to be injected into the social fabric in Northern Europe as the last ice age gives way? The last population that has to deal with the reality of living in a frozen world is that Viking population. Can you live and survive by yourself? No, you cannot. Your survival is predicated on everybody's survival. So it's not lost on me in the 21st century that the parts of the human population where we are more evolved in that way are the parts of our population that when we go back 2,000 years or more, are the populations like, yeah, you didn't survive on your own. Individualism is not, you will not survive if that's how you behave. So I do think there's some element that's really important. And in my faith tradition, I'm no longer practicing as Catholicism. I was born and raised Catholic, went through confirmation. So in confirmation, in the tradition, you accept a confirmation name. The name I chose was the name of Maximilian Kolbe. Maximilian Kolbe was a Polish priest who was killed by the SS in Auschwitz. He died in a cell. How he got in the cell with a handful of other individuals, I think it was 3 feet by 3 feet brick cell. I think it was 6 or 7. I can't remember exactly. They were all shoved. Door was closed. Let him die. Kolbe was the last to survive. He had prayed the entire time. After everybody else was dead, I think the SS guards got tired of Kolbe praying, so they opened it up and injected him with poison to kill him. But where this all started was in a firing line. Something was going wrong, and they wanted to shoot a couple people just to prove a point. So they pull 2 people out. Kolbe knows one of those individuals is a husband and father with wife and children, and he says, take me instead. I'm a priest. So for this act of sacrifice, they're like, all right, well, screw y'all. All of you are going in the cell, and we're going to leave you there, and you're going to die. So there's an element there for me when I was 17 that was like, okay, this recognition of, if you're going to choose a spiritual guide, North Star, whatever, purpose, I can think of no more selfless act than offering yourself up in place of someone else when you recognize that person's need is greater than yours. And when you break that down to you're going to die in that choice, I can think of no other more selfless act than that. So there's a part of this that, I'll just read this. On being confirmed Maximilian Kolbe, at 17, in my confirmation, I chose the name I would carry forward in the world. A man who chose to stand for another with wife and kids along a firing line dehumanized others. At 40, I was reminded on a Good Friday in Poland of a choice long forgotten. Lost to the din of daily life, the name came back to me while standing in the place he died. At 50, I was amazed by the clarity of choice sitting in front of me in a workshop exercise on a liminal life. What is to be became obvious. I am to be sacrificed. So your question for me is that answer of, okay, for us to make this work, I have to be prepared to engage in relationship with other humans in ways where I might come to learn there are parts of me that are really important to me that need to be sacrificed. me. I am to be sacrificed so that this relational space can be generative for all of us going forward. So for the answer to your question, that's my answer for me. But I can't say that's the answer for everyone because that's a tall order.